Shikues të nderuar, vazhdojmë tutje, ju njoftova edhe në hyrjet e këtij edicioni që unë konsideroj që do ta kemi një intervistë ekskluzive sonte me zotin John Skovbo, drejtori i East Bridge Academy, i cili vjen nga Danimarka për të na sjell arsyeën e tij të ardhjes në Kosovë. Gjithsesi do të flasim me që është edhe ushtarak, do të flasim për gjendjen e sigurisë në Kosovë veçanërisht, por edhe në rajon e Mëxherr, si dhe për tema të tjera të cilat do të keni mundësi të ndiqni në minutat në vazhdim. Zoti Skovbo, mirëseardhët, është kënaqësi t'ju kem sonte në Kontakt. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for seeing me.
I'm going to ask you in Albanian because of our viewers, so I'm sorry. E kemi edhe përkthyesin patjetër. Gjithsesi, fillimisht zoti Skovbo po flasim për atë se çfarë është Akademia East Bridge, që dim se si ta dekzojmë edhe muhabetin në vazhdim.
Okay. Short about East Bridge Academy, we are specialized
academy
training of military
akademi
and also larger corporations,
edhe bashkëpunime të ndryshme.
strategic and tactical plans, and also to see them to be operational.
Pse jeni në Kosovë aktualisht?
Why are you in Kosovo?
Why are you in Kosovo?
Okay. We're in the Republic to see if we can facilitate and enhance the knowledge which are within the KSF, and also to facilitate the transition towards an army. We have done that before in the Balkans, where the Balkan states was towards the NATO standards.
So you're here for transformation of FCK?
Yes.
To an army?
To an army.
Do we need an army?
Well, that's also a political question, but if we're looking into an army, nearly every country in the whole world do have an army. And I can recall just one country which do not have an army, that's Iceland. But that's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Në rregull, e qartë. Kur jemi tek ushtria, më intereson të di si e komentoni pajisjen me mjete ushtarake të shteteve në rajon, armatimin e tyre, kohëve të fundit. A përbën kjo rrezik për Kosovën?
He went out, so please repeat it a bit louder, please.
The regional states are being armed lately.
Yes. Okay.
Is that a threat for Kosovo?
Now, East Bridge Academy has a name, East Bridge Academy, and that means a bridge between East and West, because we believe in the talks between equal partners. And if there's a partner who are stronger than the other one, you could face potential trouble in the future ahead. And if people around you do have armed themselves, of course you have to address that situation within the country.
A jeni një organizat ushtarake?
We are both. We are both. We educate military academies for countries and also larger corporations in strategic planning.
Great. What's your cooperation with the government of Kosovo?
The cooperation with the government, we have, before the election, we were talking to the previous government about supplying our services towards the KSF in the transition. And we are also right now currently talking to the government about see if we can make a progress. And we've been down here for 24 months now.
With the leaders? You have been talking?
Yes, we have been talking with not the top leaders, but the middle leaders.
Prime Minister Ramush Haradini?
We met him before the election, had a very good conversation, and we got some of the same ideas. And he got a clear vision about where he wanted the KSF to go. And of course we could support that idea, and we're able to do it.
Ms. Skovbo, I'm sorry, I have a question for control room. I'm not sure that viewers are having a translation in Albanian. Më bëni me dje, ju lutëm regjia, që kemi përkthim në etër, apo jemi duke folur anglisht, edhe pse Kosova është 99% e një gjuhën që po e flasim, por gjithsesi duhet ta kemi patjetër. Nëse ka mundësi të na shoqëroni edhe me fotografi të takimit të zotit Skovbo me kryeministrin Haradinaj, ju lutëm që të jetë sa më e afërt me publikun se për çfarë edhe po flasim. Për gjithë ata që tani po inkuadrohen në frekuencat e Tribuna Channel, po flasim për transformimin e FSK-s në forcat e armatosura të Kosovës. Është Akademia East Bridge me drejtorin e saj John Skovbo, I cili është në Kosovë momentalisht, ka pasur takime, siç tha ai vet, me njerëzit e lartë, zyrtar të Republikës së Kosovës. Gjithsesi do të flasim edhe për gjendjen e sigurisë në Kosovë dhe gjendje dhe shteteve të rajonit dhe më gjerë. Patjetër. Si e vlerësoni, zoti Skovbo, planin 10 vjeçar të transformimit, planin 10 vjeçar të qeverisë së Republikës së Kosovës për transformimin e FSK-s në ushtri? Dhe a keni plan më të shpejt?
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate the Republic for the 10 years anniversary. I think it's the 17th.
Thank you.
And also you have a 10 years plan, which are to be maybe implemented. That means, in principle, you have waited 20 years to get an army. And we have had a workshop and talking to different high-ranking officers and middle officers and also politicians. And from them, it was a wish or goal that we can do it faster than the 10 years. So East Bridge Academy has, with the staff, worked out a plan for education of the KSF in a 4 years' time.
How much faster are you going to be?
Yeah, in principle, we can do it in 2 years, but we prefer to do it in 4 years because then the brigade will still be operational, like you supported the flooding in Albania. Very well done, by the way. You will still be able to do that and still participate in this comprehensive training as we can provide. So 4 years.
Are the trainers going to be from Europe, or are we going to have someone from the United States too?
Our facilitators are from United States, England, Denmark, Sweden, and also the Baltic states are representative in our instructors pool. So you will have a lot of knowledge, and most of them are still in international staffs, which means it will be a high level of learning, and the latest news, they will get it down here in the KSF.
Is that necessary for the military in Kosovo?
Well, it depends on your ambition and what the politician wants with the KSF. If they want an army, it should be more than just a word. It should be a training where you could participate in international operations, like you can deploy an international staff, or let's say you take a whole company of soldiers abroad to different theaters because you are familiar and you can use the different NATO standards and you can talk the military language with different nations. And that is a core in international corporations. In the old days, we have seen that different countries got different information, different training from various of different countries. And that means you have different knowledge, different know-hows, and that could be fatal in a military organization.
Fatal? So that's a problem?
It could be a problem, yes.
Nuk e dia a dëgjuam këtë, shikues të nderuar, jemi duke folur për oficerët e FSK-s që trajnohen në vende të ndryshme të botës, që sipas zotit Skovbo është fatale sepse nuk përshtaten mënyra dhe sistemet e ushtrimeve që I kanë pasur në shtete të ndryshme, në ushtri të ndryshme. Are you getting translated? What I'm talking?
He's translated to Albanian. To English.
To English now for you, yeah. So I'm right, it's going to be fatal because of our officers are trained in the different countries and different system of the military.
Well, I'm not saying it will be, but it can be. Let me give you an example. In England, you have this strategic planning model called 7 questions. In the United States, you have the MDMP, military decision-making processes. They are similar, but they are still different in the essence and also how you're giving the orders, which means you can have 2 different kind of languages. Italian and Spanish, you understand nearly every word, but not every word. And in a military operation, that could be fatal.
So you think this wasn't a success of Kosovo?
I cannot estimate if it was a success, but I think you have to be acknowledged that it could be a problem. And after East Bridge Academy's point of view, you have to do this education uniform, which means the same kind of training, the same kind of standard operation procedure all the way through the organization.
So your academy's education, it's necessary for our military?
We are skilled at what we are doing, and you will tip the balance of knowledge in Balkan if you work with us. No doubt about it.
So is any a good atmosphere from government of Kosovo? And when is going to start your plan?
Well, we have made a draft contract to the government. We still need to have the feedback from them. In principle, we could have started yesterday because we have been down here for like 24 months. And we were ready in principle in June last year. So we are waiting to get into the last negotiations.
Is this the plan exactly what region needs for the moment? With the states of our region?
Well,
because we are ex-Yugoslavia, so we are all the same, except we geographically are in Europe, but in a political view, we aren't still.
Well, if you're looking to the big picture, every country or every region needs stability. And if you have a well-trained, well-educated KSF or army, you are better off than with nobody, because you will be able to plan and to anticipate different problems in the near future. And that will stabilize because you are able to find out things which will happen in the future with a knowledge and the education. Like, will there be a terrorist attacks, or do we have a neighbor?
We're going to talk about that too, of
or
course.
Do we have a neighbor which you want to address? Obviously, you need uniform education to stabilize the region.
Is there a threat for Kosovo? When we talk in military way?
Okay,
for example, from Serbia?
I can give you an example. Now, we have seen that everybody knows that Russia have a culture institute in this. It's common knowledge. If you're looking into Syria, Russia had the last base in the whole area of Mediterranean in Syria. And after my point of view, the only reason for Russia to go in there that was to keep the port so they have access to the Middle East and also to the Mediterranean. So if you're looking to here, where is the last base of Russia? That's in Serbia. And obviously they will try to make some pressure on the government and local governments and politicians. Also, if you look into Crimea, what happened there, Russia said we have no soldiers, but there were small green soldiers there. Could be the same. I don't say it's like that, but you should be aware of it.
Do you feel the Russian influence in Kosovo?
Well, yes, I do, because if you're looking to what one of the neighbors are talking about, is directly taking from Russia some of the things, because they are also getting a supply of weapons from there and education and funds. That's very well known. And the pressure also with the influence in the northern part of the Republic with specialized people coming in, culture attachés and so on.
So you think secret services of Russia are here?
Yes, I do. And
is there a conflict with the American system in Kosovo?
We don't want, the last thing everybody wants, that's a proxy, not war, but proxy struggle where two powers are against one another. We don't want that. So after my opinion, you have 10 years anniversary in the Republic. You have to take responsibility for your own house. Like if you have an intruder, you have to kick him out. You have to take responsibility of that. And of course, as a big brother, if there's more coming, you have the NATO. And also, maybe you have the United States.
How long is going to be NATO in Kosovo?
Well, there has not been a time frame that it will end in 1 year, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. But somewhere along the road, it will end, and then you have to take your own responsibility.
Maybe at that time you're going to be NATO members.
Yes, and we have trained you, so it could be beneficial.
You think it's going to happen, Kosovo to be part of NATO?
Yes, I do. But we just have to look into the enhance your good skills and develop some other areas so you come up to a high level so you can participate on equal terms as Danish, English and American officers, after my point of view.
So you're trying to keep Kosovo in Europe?
Kosovo are in Europe. So I want them to be closer to us because I think they belong to Europe.
Of course. Is gonna Europe exist, European Union, when we start thinking about getting in Europe? What do you think as a military?
I think there's some issues, but it's well known that the border dispute has to be solved if you want into the European Union. That has to be resolved, of course. And then you would be, and there's something about the corruption thing and all that you have to deal with. And after my opinion, you are deserved to be in the EU.
Yes, we do, and we need visas.
You will be there, but you have a road ahead, and do not be afraid to take that path, but you have to do it with purpose and not by slippery road, but you have to say, we want that road, make the plan, and stick with it.
Of course. One more question about KFS.
Yeah.
Please, it's not going to be the transformation this year, because our government officers say all the time, 2018. Well, 2018 is going to be the Kosovo with military.
Well, again, a transformation that could have started last year in principle, because if you're looking into the education system or into your constitution versus education, to start your education now, that's not...
Do you know our constitution?
Of course. So it's not a violation towards the constitution if you start training now. But it's a violation if you call it an army and you get the arms, because then you're more like a regular army, and that's a violation. But to get ahead of the transition, before you're getting the word army, before getting the weapon, you can start the education now, and you will gain some time. Right now, you spend 10 years until your anniversary, and you have a 10-year plan. Why not start today or yesterday and use those 4 years to get the training? You will win time. You need that time.
Mrs. Skovbo, sorry.
Skovbo, it's okay.
Skovbo, do you think the Serbian minority in Kosovo can block some procedures?
Well,
I'm asking you because you know our constitution, so...
Yeah, but...
do you think they can block some things in Kosovo, like...
Of course they can block, because they have the votes, and the minority, it's clear in your constitution that they have the 10 seats in parliament and so on. Mm-hmm. But I think that you have to forget the past and look to the future. After my point of view, Kosovo will always exist, because what has happened cannot be taken back. So you might as well work along towards a better future, and that also involves the minority, like the Serbs. And I think they are very reasonable and will vote for this transition.
Let's talk about one hot subject. It's about special court in Kosovo.
Yeah.
Maybe you are familiar with this. This is one of our greatest news in 2017, yeah. And it keeps being the greatest news. Do you think it's going to change the structure of politicians in Kosovo?
Well, everybody is talking about the special court, who will be indicted, who will not. I've noticed that many countries are opposed the special court, because it will just be one group who are accused, and it will not be an international court who are, let's say, impartial and fair, which we could think about. Will it be down here? Because it's inhabitants, judges from the Republic, and you will, I think, maybe accuse some within your own community, and that's a bit partial, I think.
Is that going to change your point of view?
Towards the political system?
Yeah, political system in Kosovo, after all.
Yeah, I think it's a normal development of a country. You're very young, and it's a path which you're taking, which you think you should take, and trial and error, you know, say, okay, this worked, this does not work. But after my opinion, I don't think it's the right way, but I'm not a politician, but my private opinion, I think it's the wrong way to go with that, and try to work with the future, not always to look back. Nothing good will come, always to look back.
It's a big discrimination how the government says, Albanians, of course, because we're going to be judged just for the report of Dick Marty, and we're not going to watch the Serbian genocide in Kosovo. So
Nope.
this is the problem what we are having in the area. You are familiar with this,
I
I
am.
hope.
So I totally agree that it's not impartial. It would be partial. And
Partial. That's the problem. That's the problem, actually, how the activists say in
Yeah.
Kosovo. Let's move on. Let's
Yeah.
move on, because as you say, as you said, you're not a politician. I'm gonna watch just a security plan. How do you see the security situation in Kosovo and in the region?
well, if you take into
Balkans, after all.
okay, if we take in the region in general, I think that we have had some warnings about possible terrorist attack, and we can see where do all those terrorists come from. Well, we have seen ISIS getting kicked out of Syria and so on, and they're running up towards Europe, and we will have a spillover. And it's not just in the region. We have had terrorist attacks in very safe Sweden, in very safe Denmark, with the same topics. So it's not unique within the Republic or the area to have a terrorist attack. But as long as they're kicked out, it means there will come more to the country. Also because you have some areas where it's familiar that there are some radicals living in the country, and you have to address that.
So from Kosovans who are fighting in ISIS, you're talking about that?
We know they are there, but also there are people on the run from ISIS which are maybe living in Sweden or Germany. They have to travel up through Europe, and they
Is
cannot.
Kosovo threatened?
In Sweden, in my country.
Yeah, of course, of
yeah.
course. But is the Kosovo threatened from terrorist attacks? What do you think?
I think you're in the same position as every country, that you could face it, a terrorist attack. But on the other hand, I'm very sure that the security services of the country are known to be very effective. So with international cooperation, which you have participated in now, I'm pretty sure that you will catch those terrorists, or I hope so.
Okay. Back in the days, before 20 years, you were one of a lot of NATO members who entered in Kosovo in 1999.
Yeah.
And how do you remember the day, and how do you see Kosovo after 20 years?
Well, first of all...
how was the day for you?
It was the day I fell in love. Not with a woman, but with the Republic. And it was like that. We were launched to come down here to stabilize the region. And the day number 2, we were out patrolling in the area. And when we were drawing out from the camp, there were women, children, and old people cheering, hey, like a football match. And that still gives me goosebumps, because they were very happy for us to be here. And I thought, what a marvelous country. They appreciate what we're doing. And from that, I lost my heart. And by the way, I phoned my wife, or my ex-wife, and she said, oh, John, we have to do something about that. And she took some extra help, 3 containers with school things, food, and a lot of T-shirts and clothing down to the Republic as support for the local communities.
Right. Welcome again.
Thank
welcome
you.
Again.
My second home.
Your second home. You are welcome every time. I thank you very much for being in Kontakt show in Tribuna Channel. We're going to have another interviews after you come and you start your developing your plan with KFS. So it's going to be my pleasure to have you again to see how the plan is going with our military system, our army.
Yeah, it will be my honor to participate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for me. Shikues të respektuar, kisha knasin që në studio ta kem Gjom Skovbon, drejtori i East Bridge Academy, të cilët vinë me një plan 4 vjeçar për ta transformuar FSK-n në forcat e armatosura të Kosovës. Gjithsesi, gjithë ata që nuk kishin arritur ta dëgjonin intervistën, mund ta ndiqni nesër në faqen tonë në YouTube, Tribuna Channel, vetëm e klikoni dhe dëgjoni nga fillimi deri në fund. Ka gjëra shumë ekskluzive brenda gjithsesi. Folëm për gjendjen e sigurisë sipas këndvështrimit të zotit Skovbo, por nuk u futëm edhe shumë thellë, me që si si ushtarak që është, natyrisht i kishte ato kufizimet e veta dhe nuk deshëm që të futemi më thellë. Gjithsesi dhash shumë informacione lidhur me gjendjen e sigurisë, si dhe me transformimin e FSK-s në forcat e armatosura të Kosovës. Faleminderit që jeni me ne, vazhdoni të jeni me programin ton, pas pak kthehemi me mendimet e qytetarëve, gjithsesi do të flasim për gjendjen e sigurisë. Qëndroni me ne.